broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining our California Brokers Business Accelerator on important practices for long-lasting success, hosted by our San Diego broker, Tom Bullock, but also featuring a panel of all our California brokers, Mary Jane Morris, Omar Hellman, and Jeff Green. Before we begin, I want to remind you that Allison James has proudly partnered with Conversion. Check out our FAQs page, which has all of the information about what is included. You can access the FAQs page directly from the AJI University dashboard by clicking right here. We have a scheduled training on the web and IDX section in KV Core for Thursday, May 3rd at 10 a.m. PST, 1 p.m. EST. I have sent the registration link out to all agents who are using the KV Core platform. If for some reason you did not receive this, please contact support@ajicorporate.com. With that being said, I would now like to pass it over to our brokers, starting with Tom. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning. How is everybody today?
Doing good.
Great. I would just want to send out just a compliment to Tori. She is doing a fabulous job, and I know when I talk to my agents and we communicate back and forth on various issues, I always get a compliment on Tori from the agents, and so Tori, thank you for all you do for us, and we really do thank you and respect you for your knowledge and your due diligence when it comes to all of our agents. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate it.
So today I'm going to cover with our broker roundtable important practices. You know, we're coming into the month of May, 5 months into this year, and like everything that we handle, our cars, our workouts, we have to analyze our business practices by going back to our business plans and really taking a look at what we determined at the first of this year to be important practices for all of us to follow with respect to developing success within our real estate business. So that's what the whole emphasis today is about, real estate practices that will build your business for long-term success down the road. So I've asked each of the brokers to develop a 3 to 5 minute presentation to discuss what important features they see in terms of your actions, your daily activities that will help you achieve long-lasting success with your real estate brokerage. So in moving forward today, I would like all of you to go back to after we're finished here today, go back to your business plans, take a look, and do it like a start, stop, continue type analysis of it. And first of all, stop whatever you've been doing so far this year that's not working. Obviously, you're going to stop that. You don't no need to continue beating a dead horse. Start. Any new thoughts or ideas that have come to you in the last 5 months, put those into your business plan. A business plan isn't set in stone. You need to continually adjust it so it works best and you get the best results for your efforts. And then continue. Take a look at your business plan. Take a look at your activities. Those activities that are still working for you, you need to continue those practice. That practice. You need to continue those habits. So, having said all of that, it's my pleasure to introduce our first broker. And just one more thing, I'd like to bring all the brokers into these presentations because, what we want to show all of you out there is that we have a great background and experience and knowledge base with our brokerage here at Allison James. And so I want to build value into our Allison James program by way of our brokers. You can contact them by way of email, text, phone calls, and they're there to help you. All of us are here to help you. And so by bringing and showing some of the knowledge that we have through these presentations, I hope you come to understand that, our whole point and purpose, as well as Allison James, is to bring success to you and assist you along the way in building for that success. So first, I'm going to introduce our Riverside Marietta broker Mary Jane Morris. Mary Jane, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everybody. Hi, Tom and Jeff and Omar. Because this subject was told to me that we really wanted to deal with fundamentals, and since I knew I was going to be at first, I'm going to really stick to some basic things, and I'm sure they our more technical people will have more suggestions for you that are more specific. But I'm going to start with these. The 5 things that I set aside that I wanted to talk to you about this morning were, and I want to say that in advance that all of these things are easy. They're not complicated, but you need to pay attention and you need to get it done. So the very first thing that I had to challenge myself as a human being was to wake up early. That Brian Buffini has a quote that there's no place emptier than a real estate office in the morning, and usually that's when we get our most valuable time, although I know a lot of people work late into the night, our night owls as well. Because it doesn't come naturally to me, I have scheduled my assistant to arrive at 7:30 every morning at my office, and I have to be up and ready to roll with her. Usually by 9 or 10 o'clock, a good portion, as much as 50% of my day has already been accomplished. I've answered emails. I've done quite a bit already by that time of the day. So I want to be honest and say, well, it doesn't come easy. I think it's a very valuable practice of waking up early. The second thing I wanted to talk about was meeting someone new. 10 years ago, I left San Diego and moved to Temecula to remarry, and I basically had to start my real estate career completely over. I didn't know neighborhoods, I didn't know agents, I didn't know any of that. And so every day up here, I was trying to meet someone new and get them into my new network. So in your case, it would be, moms and dads at your ball games and, your bowling league and that sort of stuff, but getting those people moved into your CRM. Keeping in mind that not everybody will personally buy or sell a home, but they could be a great referral basis for you. So working on your CRM daily and weekly, and doing that by continually meeting someone new is a valuable tool. Another thing I had to do when I moved up here was I had to relearn all the neighborhoods. There's 2 neighborhoods that I always say you probably know well, the one you live in now and the one that you used to live in, a childhood neighborhood or where your first home was or something like that. And in that neighborhood, you're going to find that there are several farms. You're going to find that there are tenant-occupied properties, that there are people who've been there since the day the property was built and may be in a position to downsize or want to right-size their life in some way. So the tip I wanted to add was always be trying to learn your neighborhoods. The 4th thing I wanted to talk about was social media. I was not also a social media person until I moved up here. I think it about coincides exactly with the time I moved up here. But it is one of the most valuable tools in my arsenal is the ability to see what's going on out there in the world and to make an impact on other people. And at the very least, you need to have at least a single social media account. I know there's a lot of controversy with Facebook right now, and so perhaps that isn't your choice, but at least one social media outlook so that you are experiencing on a daily basis what's going on out there in the world. Not to mention that you will find out, your best friend's cat just had kittens and maybe you want to say something nice about that, or somebody's been ill or something. It will keep you much more in touch. The last thing I wanted to say was learn something. I am a lifetime learner. I'm sorry, sorry for the background noise. I retake contracts class about every 2 years. Just to hear what other, I've had it taught by car attorneys, I've had it taught by regular brokers, I've had investor versions of it, and so you really get a different perspective if you continue to learn something. And then my final point to go with learn something is ask more questions. Your brokers are standing by here with a wealth of knowledge, just like Tom mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, and we very much want to keep you out of trouble. We want to help you be a success. We consider ourselves, you know, your real estate mom and dad, if you would, and we care very much, and it's very important to us that you not sit on situations. Feel free to reach out to us at any time. So having laid that foundation, I think Omar is up next. Omar, are you with us? I think he's having a connection issue this morning. So if, with Tom's permission, I'm going to pass off to Jeff Green.
Good morning, everyone. And
hey, Jeff, I'm sorry to interrupt here, but, you know, just taking off on what Mary Jane said, I have always looked at Jeff as a father figure.
Cute.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Tom. That means so much to me. I just want to tell you how much it means to me. So back at you, brother. Okay, so we're going to keep rolling here and get into a little higher level discussion than that. But hey, I want to thank everybody for being part of this webinar today. And we're looking at important practices for long-lasting success. So I'm going to give you a couple of things that have really helped me. And these have to do with putting your hands on the dial and tuning your business up. And Tom mentioned that at the beginning. If something's not working, you need to stop doing it. If something's working, you need to zero in on it. So I'm going to give you a couple of tools that will help you. The first thing I want to say is look at your business. A lot of people look at your pay. You say, I want to make 100,000 this year. I want to make 200,000 this year, or whatever you want to make. That's great. If you make $200,000 and you work 90 hours a week, that's not great. And that means that there's some flaws in your business planning. So my recommendation to you is that you look at your business from the perspective of hourly rate of pay. Look at everything you do. Am I doing a job that a $10 an hour staff person could do, or a virtual assistant can do? Because there's an old saying, you are what you don't delegate. So look at your business and say, what am I doing, and am I working at my highest and best level of performance? If you're out showing properties, if you're on a listing presentation, those are high dollar hour pay cycles that you're in. If you're doing transaction coordinating, if you're doing your own files, your own transaction coordinator, that's no bueno. You're putting yourself down in a position of a lower hourly rate of pay. So work at your top level of hourly rate of pay. And remember, you are what you don't delegate. If you're doing assistant work, you're an assistant. If you're doing TC work, nothing against TCs, they're very valuable, and they're absolutely valuable, but you're in a situation where, you know, you could be making a much higher rate of pay. The next thing is look at everything to find leveraged activities. Leveraged activities involve such things as delegation, delegating activity to somebody else or to some kind of system. You can delegate activity actually to software. There's certain functions in your career that can be done through software. So make sure you delegate, but a quick caveat on delegation. Delegation should be delegation, not abdication. Some people abdicate their agent responsibilities to their transaction coordinator, and they don't know anything about the deal. And if their client calls them up, they can't answer any questions. They don't know anything about the deal. Don't abdicate responsibility, delegate responsibility, and be mindful of what's going on. With regards to leverage activities, create systems that work for you. I have several systems. In fact, I look at everything and I say, can this be done through a system? One of the systems, I'll just give an example, is processing my email. There are certain types of email that I batch process. Like there's regular emails, I have them filtered in my system so that specific emails that aren't crisis oriented or need to know right now, I group them into a folder and I read them all maybe every other day or once a week. Those will be announcements from the board of realtors. Usually there's nothing that you have to process immediately. Once a day, and I'm a member of, I think, 8 or 9 boards. So I go through and I look at all those once a day. I don't look at them as they come in. I don't stop what I'm doing. Batch process your activities so you're able to give large amounts of time to important tasks without starting and stopping. That's an example of a leveraged activity. Another leveraged activity is staffing your business. So these are things, we won't go into detail, but things to keep in mind. And then the final point I want to make is start each day with the end in mind. A lot of agents start their day and they start going through the day and the day goes longer and longer. And next, you know, it's 8 or 9 or 10 o'clock at night and you're exhausted and you're depleted and your next day you start in a deficit. I start my day envisioning what time I'm going to complete my job for that day and how I'm going to feel. At the end of my day, I'm going to feel relaxed and fulfilled, and I'm going to know what to put off to the next day if it's something that's not urgent. And I begin the day with the end in mind, and you should do that with all activities. You should begin your year with the end in mind. What's the end of the year going to look like? What's the end of the month going to look like? What's the end of this week going to look like? What's the end of the day going to look like? And you can even break it down into hourly. I want to, you know, by the end of this hour, I want to have this done. So that's what I have for now. And back at you, Tom. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeff. And I would like to, first of all, thank both Mary Jane and Jeff for their input today. All of their information and input is just extremely valuable. And so, again, I would encourage all of you that are listening to really pay attention to this. You know, I mentioned early on in the presentation about a business plan. All of you should have a business plan. You should be following that business plan and analyzing it as you go along this year, just to make sure that everything is working properly, as I had mentioned. A business plan is like your automobile. You know, you need to change the oil once in a while to keep it running. And your business plan, you have to pay attention to it. You have to make sure it's working for you and that your actions that you take each and every day are getting results and the results you're looking for. You know, when you talk to, and I talk to successful agents, thankfully, every day, every week, every month of the year, and so do all the brokers. And the one thing that, you know, I do find that they all have in common is that they keep their schedule, like Jeff has talked about, like Mary Jane has talked about. Develop a schedule. Get up in the morning. Stick to that schedule. Contact your red hot leads. Reach out and touch all of your past clients. Continually talking and communicating with your past clients is vital to your business. And if you really, really do work hard at keeping in touch with your past clients, you will find that after a period of about 3 to 5 years, your referral business from those clients will start increasing and becoming much more regular. I know of top agents that when we had our real estate recession, that continued to do a pretty good business because, again, they took the time when the times were good to keep in touch with all of their clients, so that when the times tightened up, they were continuing to get, people are still buying and selling homes during those periods. And the top agents are getting continual leads and direction from their past clients because, again, they know their agent likes them, takes care of them, and really takes the time to keep in touch and keep up with their life. So again, make sure you do that. That's a vital, important part of what we do as real estate agents, and people are who make our business click. Another aspect, you know, drumming up leads. You know, join clubs, you know, and I know most of you have heard me say that before, but it's very, very effective. Join clubs, whether you like tennis, golf, bowling, whether or not, you know, you like to go out and run. I have agents that are in running clubs, you know, sewing clubs, reading clubs, just whatever your passion is, get in with a group of people that you do not know so that you can be in touch with like-minded type people. And again, you're not going to go in there with a sledgehammer and start developing your real estate business, but people will want to get to know you. They're going to like you. You got into this business because of your personality and because of you have the confidence in yourself that you will succeed. You know, take a look at your biggest asset, you, and get that asset out into the public eye so that people can get to meet you, get to know you, and as a result, like you and want to do business with you. So I would encourage you to do all of that. Lastly, what I'm going to cover here is to make sure you develop that business plan. You know, I know I'm kind of hitting it hard today, but, you know, I talk to agents all the time, and I ask, you know, as part of what I ask our agents as we're going through various issues, you know, how's your business plan doing? You know, and you can always tell because there's always that moment of silence if they don't have a business plan. And they say, oh, it's going fine. Everything's going, you know, according to what should be happening. And, you know, rarely have I in my real estate career ever found that my business plan in January was exactly the same business plan I was doing in November and December. It's always evolving. It's always changing. So stay with the times, increase your knowledge. Attending these type of seminars and webinars that we provide is a vital, important part of your real estate knowledge. You know, I know when I started in real estate in the late 70s, early 80s, early 90s, and the early 2000s, I progressed along the way. You change with the times, and the way you change with the times is you become more knowledgeable and stay on top of what the changes are in our real estate world. So again, educate yourself, keep yourself educated. As Mary Jane had indicated earlier, stay on top of that RPA and a residential listing agreement. I cannot tell you how many times all of us as brokers have had to get a hold of an agent because they had filled out or completed the RPA or the listing agreement incorrectly. And so, you know, it's an educational process, and typically people don't make the same mistake twice. But again, if you stay on top of the agreement, if you have any questions when you're reading through it, call your broker. Say, you know, hey, what about this? What happens if I put this in here or that in there? Stay on top of your agreements. A lot of the disagreements that come about in a real estate transaction, if an agent really knows the RPA and how it's written and what it says, you're head and shoulders above your competition. So again, keep yourself educated, keep yourself knowledgeable, and use your brokerages. That's all I have for today. I hope you have found this beneficial. If you've even come away with one point that you had not thought about, it's a successful webinar. And so I thank you all for taking the time today out of your busy schedule to join us. Again, I want to thank Mary Jane as well as Jeff to give us some of their important features that they like to see in a real estate business and what they did to build their success. So, Tori, I'm going to turn it back to you. I want to thank everybody for their participation and for listening, and have a great day and have a great rest of the week.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us, like Tom said. And thank you to our brokers, Tom, Jeff, and Mary Jane, for sharing your wealth of information and knowledge during another great California Brokers Business Accelerator. We will see you all next month in May. Have a wonderful day, everyone.